I said, welcome everyone to another of our KZN Eskom Expo eStream Cyber Club workshops, an online workshop. And today we have with us presenting, we have colleagues from WESSA who will be presenting for us. And the topic for today's session, the topic that WESSA will be presenting on is on sustainable technology in fighting climate change. So we're hoping for a nice session to hear about the sustainable technology and some things about climate change. Okay, just to let you know about the eStream Cyber Club, what it is all about is this is an online club for all school clubs to join, and we host online workshops for school clubs. Why should you join? It's just an opportunity for schools. Actually, we want to provide school clubs with content that they can also share during their science club meetings. And and we record the session. So even if school clubs are not able to meet during our session, we usually do this on a Tuesday around 2:30 to 3:30. So even if you're not available to join the session physically, you can watch the recording thereafter. So the idea is to present content which the science clubs can use, and we also want to do sessions about the Expo. All right. So eStream, why are we calling it eStream? Is E is for the environment, S is science, T is for technology, R is for robotics. And we will be covering some sections on robotics. And lots of schools have robotics clubs. So that robotics club can also become part of our cyber club. E is engineering, A is arts, and M is for mathematics. So we're bringing in the art also into science because there's a lot of art and a lot of art in engineering itself. You know, in the design process, we have to look at the aesthetics of things, and art itself is a science. So this is why, you know, we thought about the eStream, and we want to cover aspects on all of these sections. So the school science club is actually any science club at school. It doesn't have to be science, like I said, in any of the eStream fields. We have our science club booklets available. It's on our website, which you can download from there. And there's activities in these booklets that you can do with the learners. The idea of the science club is that it must be learner initiated. The activities must be done by the learners. The idea is to develop leadership, amongst the learners, and um, also, the science club is one of the way in which Expo as an activity at your school can become more sustainable, because during the science club session, the learners can work on their Expo projects. They can watch videos from our YouTube channel. They can teach each other. They can listen. They can brainstorm each other's project. And this is what we found, to be very useful particularly for Expo, is that sometimes what happens when a teacher that started Expo at a school leaves that school, all the knowledge and Expo sort of just dwindles off and slowly fades off in schools. So through the science club, we are hoping that the learners can build up this idea of Expo, and Expo activities can be part of the culture of the school. So this is the idea, with the science clubs. And our cyber club, because it's online, that's why we're calling it a cyber club. And we're encouraging schools, once they've started their science club, to register with us. Just inform us, register with us, so that, when we have activities, we can send you the information, or we can send you the videos and things like that. And we would also like to run competitions and so on specifically for the school science clubs. Just to remind colleagues that are here, these are the dates for our expo, regional expos in the province. So just in case you're not aware of them, these are the dates. There's 7 expos in KZN that we will be hosting, and these are the dates and the venues, the areas rather, I should say, when these events are taking place. Please, if you don't, if you're not familiar with what the expo is all about, please do contact us. I'll put my contact details up again. If you haven't attended a workshop, please do get into contact with one of us, so that we can help your school. And in order to register learners for participation, you have to go to our website, which is www.exposcience.co.za, to register learners and teachers for participation. Just to remind colleagues again quickly, while we're waiting for Kevin, is we have these 4 types of projects which learners can do. And within this, there's 13 categories in which the project can be registered. Learners can do projects alone as individuals, or 2 learners can do 1 project. So we've got 13 categories and 4 types of projects. Now, last week we ran, I think it was 4 online workshops where we covered these different types of projects on each day. And we looked at how to do a research plan and how to do a project under scientific investigations, engineering type, social science, and so on. So if you were not able to attend any of our sessions, then please do go and check out our videos. I think they've already been uploaded on our YouTube channel. That's where you can watch those videos that were presented last week. And even this one, which WESSA is presenting, we will shortly have it on our YouTube channel, and you can download it from there. I'm not sure if Kevin is with us, or should we? Kevin, are you with us? I'm just going to look at a question in the chat so long while we're waiting to hear from Kevin and his colleagues. There's a question.
Hi, Nalini.
Yes, Kevin.
Yeah, I hope we're all gonna be good. Yeah. So
okay, so I can stop sharing and hand over to you. Can I?
Okay, yes.
Can I hand over to you? Okay, thank you so much. Just to introduce everyone, this is Kevin Lakani. He is from WESSA. I'm not sure if he's the Chief Education Officer, but he can tell you more about that. And if you have a question, you can post it on the chat, and we'll take questions later. Thank you so much. Over to you, Kevin.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Yeah, so like Nalini said, my name is Kevin Lakani. I am basically work for WESSA, based at in Zululand, in Mtunzini, in a place called Twin Streams Education Center. But obviously, as some of you may know, that WESSA is all over the country. We have 3 education centers in KZN. Mtunzini, it's Twin Streams Education Center in Mtunzini. It's one of the education centers. And then in Howick, there is Umgeni Valley Nature Reserve. And then in Durban, in the Bluff area, there's Treasure Beach Education Center. So, but today we are actually at Mtunzini, at Twin Streams Education Center in Mtunzini. So I'm actually education officer. So I also work as like a center supervisor around here. And I have my colleagues with me. I have Sibahle Buthelezi, I have Simpi Wenkosi, and I also have Unkanyi Shozi. So we are going to be sort of like a sharing, and now and then one might take over. But you're going to have to actually excuse us, guys. We have been struggling quite a lot to add what was supposed to be our main sort of like a presentation. But then we will share with you some of the stuff, especially with the sustainable technologies. But then our aim was to actually share with you one of the projects that the students can actually get involved in. But if we are lucky, if we're able to share it with you later on, we will be able to. But otherwise, I can always share with Nalini, who can just distribute it to you. It will have been nice though for you to see it. But then, yeah, let's just do what we can share with you. So let me just share the screen. Just, I hope this will be able to. Please do let me know if you are able to see. Okay, I think this.
We are starting to see your screen, Kevin. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanna start from the beginning. Can you just do the just admit there so that it doesn't disturb me? And then, yeah, but it should start from the beginning, not here, not on this video. Okay, just, no, it's already on PowerPoint.
Let's go back on your slides.
From the beginning. I wanted to start from the beginning, but then
Go back on your slides. It should help. It should.
okay. Okay.
Okay. You have to select from beginning as well, I think.
Yeah,
Your option
I
from
think,
beginning.
yeah, I think, yeah, sorry about
Okay.
that.
No problem.
So you'll just have to forgive me if I am going to repeat what Nalini has already spoke about in terms of like the E-STEAM. So since the E-STEAM E is for the environment, so on our side, we are actually going to tackle the environment side of it, and looking to the environmental issues and or the environmental problem. So the good thing about the E-STEAM is that with children who are actually focusing on their stuff and on their subject. So since it's science, technology, robotics, engineering, creative arts, and maths, then it does actually involve the environment. So the way we actually look at the environmental issues, right? And then in order for this not to, or in order for it to link very well with the subject so that the children can be able to get involved in practicing their subject. So we are actually using the Eskom now to fight, to fight the climate change. So in this case, it is going to be a climate change. So the good thing about this is because it doesn't only touch on climate change, it touches on waste and all other environmental issues, because eventually those will result into climate change. So this will be our now looking at what is Eskom exactly. So obviously, I like the fact that it is like more like the action planning, and then exposed to all different techniques, like focusing especially on a creative design and that critical thinking, a kind of way. So it is so good in such a way that while learners are actually being given a space to think just outside of their limitations, especially because like they're not only focusing to the curriculum structure, but like we let them go wild in terms of like thinking and being more creative. I think in that way, it makes even those subjects much more easier, and then actually also more interesting to actually explore on when you actually given a chance to keep like to go wild in terms of like thinking. And it also encourages the creativity through obviously a problem and also project-based learning. So by problem and project-based learning, it's basically more when you're looking at being given a problem to solve. So obviously that will become more like a project. So let's say maybe in class you are busy like working on photosynthesis, and now you get taken out of the class, and then you go as far as you possibly can in terms of like looking at how does it actually take place. And then sometimes maybe you are given a problem like to solve like the climate change. So now how do you apply those subjects? So we look at the science, like what is the science behind climate change? So what can we do to solve climate change using science? And then look at technologies. What can we build in order for us to actually, what can we do sort of like building something in terms of like fighting the climate change? So it actually, the good thing about it, it involves all the subject, and that's where the learners get to practice those subjects. So obviously it is still in line with their CAPS curriculum. It's just that the Eskom gives them a chance to actually think to go as far as like out of the limitation of their actually their curriculum. So obviously, this I think it might be similar to what Unalini has said about the 8 steps that are the steps that you follow when you are actually working on the Eskom project. So it is obviously guided by these 8 steps. So challenge statement would be more like something that you are going to be doing the research on. Like, let's say you are working on climate change, so that will be your problem and or your challenge statement. But obviously, in order for you to do a proper, to work on a project, you have to do a background research. So when you're doing the background research, you obviously trying to actually find out exactly what if it's climate change, what causes that, and then you go as deep as what causes that cause, so that you can be able to have the solution. Because if you don't like have any background information about the particular problem, then it won't be easy. So that's why the step 2 has to be there. And then obviously it's going to be your concept design. So that's where the team actually gets to throw all the ideas. You design your ideas so that you know exactly how are you going to tackle it. And then it's going to be the methods and apparatus. So how am I actually going to work on this project? And then that's where your methodology comes in, and then the list of your apparatus that will be used for your particular project. And then obviously after that, it's going to be the construction. So that's where now the engineering and technology comes in, when you are constructing that project in with climate change. And then the step 6, you'll have to test it. So that's where and improving. So now Will it work? You test it could be a prototype, you test it, and then you see if it's going to work or not. And that's where you will have to, like, the improving will actually come in. And then in this step here, it does actually allow you to go back. Okay, this doesn't actually work, or not to a full extent. Maybe let me go back and to step number 2 and do more research, background research about this, in order for my project to be actually quite successful. And then if it does work, and then you go to your final product, that's where you're then going to be launching your product, and then you present it. So it's such a pity that we might not be able to video, but then we will see, maybe at the end we'll be able to play it. But then what we've sort of like done at something which is a little bit similar to this, which will actually give students a chance to actually follow all these steps in order for them to come up with a nice project in fighting with climate change. But the good thing about that, at the same time, they will be practicing those subjects, because there will be an element of maths, science, technology, a creative art when they are actually busy with that. So that is basically what our e-stream is about. So I think we've been to this already. So the environment will be your e-stream, and then these are actually the steps that you actually that you follow when you're doing your, when you're busy with your process, with your e-stream process, right? I am not sure if you will allow me to carry on unless there's a question. But then this is just basically more like what Nalini already spoke about. But just wanted to share a bit also about our e-stream, because we use it as a framework. And whenever we do the project, it's always going to be based on these. So with your permission, Nalini, can I carry on?
Yes, you can. Go ahead.
Okay. Right. So now, obviously, this project was going to be the solar oven, but then unfortunately, we won't be able to share it with you right now. Then we will later on, if we can't play the video, like I said, we will share it with Nalini, and Nalini will be able to actually distribute it. But then we're actually also going to be looking at the sustainable technologies. I'm sure most of us know that there are things that are actually cause of the climate change. So if you look at, for instance, like burning the fossil fuel, so obviously that will result into global warming, then the climate change. But there are other things that we can do. There are other things that we can use as opposed to using the electricity in order for us to shrink or to reduce our ecological footprint, which will result into a global warming and then climate change. So these are just a few sustainable technologies, and then things that you can actually build and then use in order to actually reduce or to shrink your ecological footprint, which will result into climate change. So what we will do, we'll just share just some of these, and then later on it will be up to to the students. So they will actually be given a task to actually look at all these technologies that we will share, and then try to find the way in which they can. And like I think you've already touched on the fact that you don't have to start something new as a project, but you can look at something that has been already done and then try to improve it. I think by actually doing that, it will assist them also to actually practice the subjects, because there will be a lot of maths, there will be a lot of measurements that will be actually taking place there. There will be a lot of maths, there will be science also in there. So looking at these sustainable technologies will enable them to actually think through and then find the ways in which they can actually improve them. We always used to believe that with 4IR, we are going to actually suffer in terms of like the environmental issues, because the focus will be more onto technology. But the good thing is with a technology, there are sustainable ways of actually doing. Actually, most of the technologies, they actually they have less. Some of the technologies, they have less impact on the climate change as compared to what we are actually using right now, like the electricity and stuff. So that's why we call these sustainable technologies. So let's just maybe look at them one by one, and yeah. Yeah, I'm actually trying to move.
Kevin, we still seeing your slide on solar ovens?
I'm actually trying to move my slide, but
Okay.
I think it's struggling to go to the
Okay.
next slide. Some reason. Just please bear with me. Hmm?
Are you currently presenting from WESSA Twin Streams? I can see your background picture.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yes, colleagues, we are still on.
Yeah, so what we are going to be doing also at the same time trying to share the video and see if that will be able to play while I'm sorting out my slide. Okay, what I'll do, I'll stop sharing and then reshare again. I'll just go straight to the site that I want and then reshare. All right, everyone, I hope we are still on. I'm sorry for the delay. We were actually sort of like struggling with our slides, but I hope everyone can be able to see it now.
We are seeing something that's called Skylight.
Oh, yes, that's
Okay.
the one. Okay, so this is the skylight. If you look at this is actually our office. You just have to excuse me if the quality is not good, but this is our office. So if you look over here, we have these 1, 2, 3 big lights, but then very close to them, you have these small lights. So obviously we are actually, we are used to this and this and these like the normal lights. But if you look over here, you have these big bright one, which are actually the skylights. So what I'll do, I will sort of like play just a video so that you can be able
Kevin, we can't hear you any longer. Just to let all the participants know that Kevin is actually presenting directly from Twin Streams WESSA, and they are in the North Coast. And if any one of you have been to Twin Streams, there the network is very challenging. You know, it's quite difficult, the network. So I think that seems to be the problem there. We just have to be a little bit patient. You can ask any questions so long if you have, and I will try and answer them if I can.
the bad things is the signal. So we are actually just waiting
Okay.
for.
I was just saying
I'm
that
just waiting.
you guys have very bad network out there.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's bad. It's bad. So yeah, let me just rejoin.
But really, it's such a beautiful place. If you know there's teachers on this chat, do consider read up about WESSA, and you know, you can take your learners, even your science club learners, out there for an excursion. They have overnight venues. You can stay over. You know, lots of the leadership courses that they do with grade 7s, and it's quite an exciting place to be at. I've been there quite a few times. There's a beautiful beach that you know, you can walk through to get to it. The beach is so untouched and really so beautiful. So just to let you know that the network is a bit of a challenge there. Are there any questions while we're waiting for Kevin? I think there was a question in the chat, and the question was about social science. If your learner is conducting a survey for a social science project, how do they go about getting ethical approval for the questionnaire? Avesh, that is from Avesh. So the questions that Avesh, I think you're referring here to in terms of the research plan. So remember, the teacher is signing the research plan. So your teacher is the person, or your mentor, that is the best person to check the questions. You don't actually need ethical approval for the questions, but you just got to be mindful of, you know, checking that the questions are not, what can I say, are not violating any of the ethics that, you know, we have spoken about on our learner ethics checklist. So the best person is your teacher. I'm not sure, Avesh, if you are the teacher. Do you want to just unmute quickly while we're waiting for Kevin? Avesh, are
Yes,
you
ma'am.
a teacher?
I'm a teacher.
You
I
are the
am a
teacher.
teacher. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I noticed on the Expo website, it mentioned that we have to send questions through to an ethics board for approval. So that's why I was just questioning about that.
Okay, let me see if I'm just waiting for Kevin. Let me just see if I can access that learner ethics, and then I'll just show you what we were talking about. I'll just quickly share that. Let me just try and access it. It's more what we were actually referring to is the project idea itself. You can always send me the questions if you're not sure, if your questions are appropriate. You're most welcome to send the questions to me. I think I did share my contact details, but let me see if I can share the ethics checklist with you. So this is the one we're talking about, and you can download this from our website. So with this checklist here, if there's any, if your topic or your research, the learner's research, when you read this and there's an X in any one of these aspects. So for example, this question here, emotionally or mentally challenged people. So if you want to interview emotionally challenged or mentally challenged people, then I would suggest X there, and then you can send your research you can actually send it to me first. I can have a look at it and guide you as to what to do. Failing which, if I can't help you, then you can send it to ethics at Expo Science. Okay, but even with your questions, this is what we're talking about. Your questions that you ask in a social science study, I'm not sure if you were, did you join us for our social science session, Avesh?
No, unfortunately, ma'am, I missed that one.
You missed that one. Okay, the recording is on our YouTube channel. You can download it from there. Let me just put my contact details again in case if you missed it. Just to quickly share that. The questions that you ask in any social science project needs to be directly linked to your aim, your hypothesis, your research questions. So you need to target the questions so that they help to either support the ultimate aim is to support your hypothesis. So the questions that you ask will obviously have to be linked to that, to the hypothesis, your research question, your aim. Okay. I don't know if Kevin
Thank you,
is
ma'am.
ready to come back.
Nalini?
Yes, Kay, go ahead.
Yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to add to that
Go
because I think when it's asking a question about, ethics clearance, it's also to ensure that your survey does not bring disrepute to any organization, group of people, where you may create a negative scenario. So your mentor or some assisting you in that field has to ensure that the questions are fair and they're not biased in that regard. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Kay. Kay is one of our very experienced judges, and she was a regional coordinator for quite some time. So yes, Avesh, you did get my contact number. Please, you can even send us your questions. Send us the research plan. And send me the research plan and I can have a look at it. Okay. I don't know if Kevin, you're ready to come back on?
Yes, I am. You can just let me show the screens. Yeah.
Yeah, you still have, I think you do. Kevin, no, you don't. Oh, you left. I need to make you co-host. There you go. Okay. You should be able to share now.
Skylight. Right. So if you look at this now, this is outside. So if you look here, this is the light I am talking about. So you can see the actual light very close to the skylight. And then you can see how bright it is. But there's no electricity here. It's just want to take you outside the building so that you can be able to see outside. Okay, so before that, you can see now I've just switched on the lights and then switched off. So you can clearly see that there's no, so this is the skylight from the outside. So you have this glass protruding off the roof, and then obviously it has to go through the roof, then inside in order for you to get that light. So you're basically trapping the light from the outside, from the sun. And then when you have this clear, a big glass, which actually which goes through the roof, and you trap light, and then being able to actually have the light in your room without having to use electricity, especially during the day. And then some people have actually used the 2-liter cool drink bottle. I don't want to say Coke bottle, but yeah, the 2-liter Coke bottle. Some people, they have that, and then in such a way that some were creative in a way that they've actually put water inside there. If for what, I'm not sure, but they've decided to just have water inside there. I think there will be like, I think maybe when the water is inside, there's more sort of like reflection or something. But it's like this might be too sort of like might be of sort of like commercial or something, but you can actually do this using just the 2-liter Coke bottles, and or even like whatever that is actually quite transparent in such a way it can go through the roof. So this is our skylight, one of the sustainable technologies. But then I don't know if I should actually say this now each and every after a sustainable common, that you know the student that they can do, they can look at this skylight. So it is able to trap a light, but not like the actual energy, but just the light. Does give the light, but only during the day. So now it will like actually remain on them when they do, I mean, to do the research on how can they actually trap that light and then use it also overnight. It might be a little bit tricky, but through the research, it can be possible. But this is only effective obviously, to be used during the day. But then in the night times, or where you need the electricity and the most, then you will have to use the normal electricity. So that's how this actually limiting you in terms of like just using lights, except, I mean, like no electricity at all. You only have to use it during the day in the rooms, like in the rooms that are actually quite dark. So this is our skylight. All right, over here we have our parabolic solar cooker. So they all work similar. They all trap the from the sun. And then as we may know that whenever you have something shiny, it will be able, as long as you're facing the sun, it will be able to actually trap that light. And then if you look at this one, let me just, if you look at this one, obviously you can see when you keep on moving it around, it actually, it keeps on, there's a lot of sort of like a reflection. So it's trapping the light, but then in order for it to be effective, you have to position it in a way that it is facing the sunlight, right? So if you look at its shape, it's more sort of like like, yeah. So in such a way that it is able to trap like a whole lot of light. But then, so when it traps the light, it will obviously reflect back. So it will come in here. I will show you the diagram later on how it actually does that. So it will trap in the light and then reflect back. So obviously you have like, it doesn't have any means of keeping the heat over here. It will trap in and then it will reflect back. It will reflect back. But then now, if you look over here, we have this black pot. So I'm sure there's something common about the black color when it comes to sun, like the science behind that whole stuff. Obviously, the black color absorb the heat. So now, if you have something that is black, especially on your what we call the focal point. So now you have this light that comes in, get trapped, and then reflect. But then, obviously, there will be a spot. If it comes in here, it will reflect back. And then if it comes in here, it will reflect back. So over here, there will be a point where all these actually join, like meet, it will be, and then exactly where all settle them. But then how do you actually make sure that you are able to trap enough heat? Let's just so you'll have to actually position your solar cooker and then try to make sure it is actually facing the sun. So you move around, and there's one common thing that we know, that in order for you to make sure that you are facing the sun, your shadow has to be behind you. As long as your shadow is behind you, that means you are actually facing the sun, right? That means you are actually facing the sun. So this one is very, very effective. It can take about, depending how hot it is, it can take about 10 minutes to boil just a small pot of water. But then close to 45 minutes, close to an hour to cook your rice, if it's actually quite hot. So now if you think about it, something that you can actually do it in the work place. Let's say maybe you and your colleagues would like to have a lunch on that day, something that is cooked on the solar cooker. So you bring in your rice and you place it outside there. All you will have to do is just have to keep on turning it so that to make sure that it is facing the sun. Maybe by lunchtime, you'll have your rice, and or you'll have your sampan beans, even your vegetable stew ready to be actually consumed just by using light and nothing else. Right. So this is our parabolic solar cooker. Right. And then again, here's the challenge for the students. So their job now is to look at its effectiveness. It is actually such a pity that they can't actually see, touch it and get to see how it is actually constructed. But if you look at it, it's just the pieces of metal and the steel over here to hold it all together. But it is actually more like roundish. And then some people have gone as far as using those big satellite dishes, and those are actually quite effective. So they've actually taken those, and then they've used sort of like an aluminium foil over here so that it's quite shiny, so it can be able to trap the light. And because that one is actually quite spherical, so it is easy to actually for it to trap a more sunlight, for it to be more effective. That one you can also even bend the piece of paper. Now this could be another project for the students. And again, if you look at it, there's a whole lot of engineering here behind this. There's a whole lot of technology. There's a whole lot of science behind this whole thing. Now, are you happy with the way it is actually like? Is there any way that you can actually sort of like change it for it to even trap more? It's not actually quite wide open. So that could be a sort of like a research in order for you to improve what is already available. And yes. So now we'll
To ask you,
yes.
what if we had to use mirrors, you know, on this device? Would it make a difference?
That would be actually quite effective. You can actually use mirrors. That would be, I've seen some in some areas where they've actually used mirrors. So that would be quite more effective.
It could be an interesting project for a learner to try to see whether
Yes.
it cooks faster. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
and then I know it's always like, an excuse when building these. And if you look at, we actually trying to solve the environmental issues, trying to fight the climate change, but obviously by also reducing the waste. But I mean, like if you look at the waste at school, the most waste that you'll find at school, it would be, those, the chips that they buy. So obviously inside there's aluminium. So those are some of the things that they can actually look at, not to just buy stuff, but to use what is already there to actually improve this project. But we'll look at that later on when we're looking at our solar oven. And yes. Yeah. Over here, we have our ceramic clay stove. Again, this might, some people might be like, where am I gonna get the ceramic clay? This is just the clay stove. Like you can just go and get the clay from the rivers or wherever you'll find the clay. Doesn't have to be that the ceramic stuff that you buy from the shop. But this is our ceramic stove. So it's our ceramic stove plus our volcano or our chimney kettle. But then let's first look at our ceramic stove. So over here, we have this little guy, which is actually quite heavy because of all the mud and clay which is actually used to build it. But to keep this to make, like, obviously to keep the proper shape, and then to also conserve the heat from escaping, it is actually surrounded by metal. So obviously it's clay inside, but then like on the outside is the metal. So the metal actually plays an important role also to actually keep the heat. But then, as you may know, your clay will be quite porous, obviously, to actually for the heat to go through. But then it will be actually trapped. And then because it's clay, all that heat will be trapped inside here. And then you will then have to use not like a big firewood or so, just the little twigs to start the fire. And that fire will be actually kept inside here. And then you will be able to actually have, like, this will sort of like have the constant supply of heat to actually heat your pot through for your water or whatever to boil. So if you look over here inside, there's like this big hole. That's where your heat and the smoke will actually come in. But then on the side here, there's a space where you can put your firewood. But then this is just a stand for you to actually, like, just for your firewood, because it is actually quite like there's not enough space to actually put through all your firewood. So this is just the stand for your firewood. And then there's just right at the bottom here, there's another pocket where you just slide open it for your ash to come through. But the good thing about this, you can use your little twigs, your sticks, and also something called the fire bricks. But maybe on the next presentation, on the next presentation, yes, we'll maybe actually show you the fire bricks that you use by using just the papers. So you can also use those in here instead of like maybe your little twigs, right? So this is actually quite effective. It is very, very, very fast. With this pot, which is about 20 centimeters base, it can actually take about 7 to 8 minutes like for water to boil. It is very, very, very fast. So it's actually one of the quite of very effective ways of water. It's not only just for boiling water, you can also cook your food here. So this is our ceramic clay stove. And then now we'll just check on chimney or volcano kettle. Right. So like I said, this is just the part where you can like get rid of the ashes. And then over here, we have our volcano or chimney kettle. So if you look at this kettle, so just from underneath here, it is actually quite hollow. And then over here also there's a hole. There's a hole from the top to the bottom. Very strange. I'm sure you will be able to actually see that. So there's a hole here, through here, there's a hole. Let me check and see if this guy can show us this hole. So where he is actually pointing now, that's more like your water jacket. So there is a part where if you look over there, that's the hole. You see, you can see like from the other side, through the other side. So that is your hole. And then if you look from the top also, but there is this little part here, this is where you put your water, and then it goes to your water jackets. So the good thing about this, so having this hole like at the bottom here, from the bottom all the way up, when you place it on the fire, it hits through like everywhere. So all the heat will actually hit the water like all over in the water jacket, and then you have your chimney, which will obviously, this would be more like your chimney. That's where your chimney or volcano kettle, because when you have like your fire, there will be smoke through here, but then you put your water in here, and then this takes about 5 minutes to boil. If you have like a good water, good fire, it will take only about 5 minutes to boil. So this is one of our very, very, very good, especially for camping. You won't have to worry about taking the gas stove with you. You can just take this volcano kettle, and then you use just a little twigs, not even big firewood, just little twigs to boil your water. In a space of 5 minutes, you'll have your water going. And then with the load shedding and stuff nowadays, so this is also quite effective, especially for the students when they want to go to school. Instead of them going without a shower, they can just use the volcano kettle to actually to boil their water. So at the moment, this is the only size that we have. So obviously, again, we can look at the ways in which we can do a bigger one, maybe even in a form of like a donkey boiler. You'll have maybe a very, very big one and make fire under, and then just connect the pipes over here for the outlet, and then the pipe over here for the inlet. And then you'll have your fire, which will actually boil your volcano sort of like geyser, and then you will be able to actually run this from this volcano geyser to your shower. So in that way, you are still able to actually use your shower, but then this, like instead of you using electricity, you will then be only using just the firewood. Obviously, if it's too big, like about 100 liters, you'll have to use like a big firewood for it to be actually quite more effective. So yeah, this is our volcano or chimney kettle. Right, I'll just move on. Oh. All right, but I don't know what Linus. I hate this.
I didn't hear that, Kevin.
So I don't know if there was supposed to be our last water heater, but I don't know what happened to it. So I don't want to actually waste more time trying to look for it and stuff. But obviously, for the next presentation, we will be able to share maybe just that water heater. But then, yeah, for now, in terms of like the sustainable technologies, this is all we have. And then I think later on I can just maybe go back to the parabolic solar cookers just for them to see how it actually traps the heat. And it's not the video, but it's just the images of how it actually traps the light and then reflect back. And then so that they can be able to see the focal point I was talking about, especially with regards to the parabolic solar cooker. So other than that, yeah, I don't know if there are questions.
Any questions so far? Does anybody have any questions for Kevin and his team? Anyone? Let me just check the chats quickly. No, I don't see any questions in the chat. Kevin, what's also nice about these technologies that you've shown us is that these are things that we can use even during load shedding. You know, we can use this in our homes.
Exactly. That's a good thing about them. So the project in there, then it can take them back to, use them at homes. And then also, if they, so there's always science behind this, and it gives you more time to actually practice those subjects. So if you like just look at you have to apply maths and like you make for you 10. So you are obviously math. Then there's the behind
We
trapping
can't
heat,
hear you
conserving
clearly,
heat.
Kevin. You're breaking up. We can't hear you.
Yeah?
Your network is very bad. We didn't hear you.
Oh, okay. Oh, this. Yeah, but what I'm saying is about these, even there will be projects. If you look at just the clay store, science, technology, like if you look at like just the stand, like there are angles like behind this, then releasing, and then also how much heat you need of does a base in a space of 5 minutes. So there will be a lot of calculation, a lot of science. So there'll be a lot of practicing their STEAM subject easy with their project.
Okay.
And then also in making apps as well. So that's where now comes in. You management science sort of like practice, because you and then sell them to generate the income for your club and or your school.
So it can actually become a business.
Exactly.
Okay, I don't know if there's any questions because we've reached the end of our time slot. We're actually 10 minutes over. I don't see any questions in the chat, and participants that are still here with us. You can unmute yourself or raise your hand if you have a question. Anyone? Doesn't look like anything, Kevin. Is there anything else you want to show us? Or can we end the slot here?
I don't know how long will it take guys to can upload the video, but if you can just give us just 1 minute for us to just let the twin streams to share their screen. Just give us just 2 minutes. I mean, like 1 minute.
Okay. Okay, colleagues, we'll just wait a few minutes for those. Thank you for your patience for those participants that are still here. Just a few minutes for Kevin and his team to show us their last video. Thank you for staying on. Kevin, can you share contact details, or someone from WESSA, can you just share contact details?
Oh, okay. Can you...
Even if you put it on the chat, so
Yeah,
that
we'll put them on the chat. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So unfortunately we are unable to, I think we are out of space because we're using
Okay.
so we will be with you. I will try and find the way in which we can send the video. We'll just do the voiceover so that it's easy. We'll just do the voiceover and then send it to you. And then, yeah, we can, yeah, I think. And then also with regards to the parabolic solar cooker, I think that will just also share it with you also.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to avoid taking more time now because I've already wasted more time. So yeah. But then I think, I don't know, the student can actually look at all these projects and then look at the ones that they can actually work on. But then in terms of like improving them, and then I always want to emphasize the fact that by doing these, you are actually it's part of your schoolwork. You're actually practicing your STEAM subjects, so it actually helps quite a lot, and to even push that that courage for students to actually love the math science, which some people always think it's a difficult subject. So yeah.
Let me just see if I can project. Just put your contact details. Get a... I just want to share your contact details, Kevin, on the chat. Let me just share quickly. And just to let everyone know that the technologies that, that you showed us are all there at the center. And I'm sure if learners want to do a project, on improving any of those technologies that you've shown us today, they can contact you, and I'm sure you'll be more than willing to assist, because the actual devices are there at the center.
Definitely,
Okay.
definitely. Anytime,
Okay.
anytime we can actually assist.
So I think you can see. Thank you so much, Kevin, and the team from WESSA. We would definitely like to redo the session. When connectivity is a little better, and maybe
Yeah,
when schools are back open again, and we can have the actual learners that are in the science club. Please let us know when we can do this again. We'll chat offline. But thank you so much, Kevin and his team, for making yourselves available to do the session for us. For myself, I think because I've seen the stuff firsthand, and for me it was something that I enjoyed hearing about again. So thank you so much. I don't see any hands up from the participants. I don't see any questions in the chat.
Nalini?
Yes, go
Hi,
ahead.
Nalini.
Go
No,
ahead.
I just want to check with Kevin if that book is still available, because when I did the Enviro Educator course at Twin Streams, that was one of the best resources for a teacher to use on sustainable technology. So all of this was explained with worksheets to support it. It's fantastic because I've used it at school as well.
Oh, thank you for that, Kay. Kevin?
Yes, as far as I know, as there are still some few books here and there that are available, but not for like 20 people, but just for 1 or 2 people. And I'm sure those can always be shared. So yes, I know for the fact that I do have one at Twin Streams, and I can always check with Umgeni Valley and see if they still have some of these.
Please do check, because I think Kay is very into environment. I know she is on an environment committee. Am I right, Kay?
Actually, Nalini, I was fortunate some 15 years ago to be sponsored by USA to attend Twin Streams, the 1 week course. And
Okay.
it was brilliant, some of the things that were taught there. But I'm saying this booklet really carried me through the years when we implemented at school. So it would be great for, teachers especially to get their hands on it.
So Kevin, it looks like your teachers are needing your information booklet. Maybe you guys can consider making more copies of it, or uploading it on your website if possible, that we can download it from there.
Yeah, we'll see what I can do. We'll just keep in touch. We'll see what I can do. We'll just
Okay,
stick around
great.
it. Yes.
Thanks again, everyone. Kevin and his team, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thanks
Nalini.
to all the
Thanks a lot.
participants. Yes, Kevin, go ahead.
No, I was just saying thanks a lot. And then sorry for the delay. I actually had to rush from Durban to Twin Streams, because like it was actually not going to be possible if I were to do this from the Treasure Beach side. So sorry for all the delays, but then I'm glad that we did just a little bit of or just a part of it. So yeah, thanks a lot. Hopefully we will be able to actually carry on, and then we are still open for any questions. You can just send an email or just a WhatsApp if there are any sort of like clarifications that are needed. But then yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, everyone. And enjoy the rest of the day. I know school's back on tomorrow, so looking forward to seeing you guys again at one of our online workshops. Stay safe, everyone. Take care. Thank you so much, Kevin, for going to all the trouble of making yourself available and presenting for us today. It's really appreciated. All right, stay safe, everybody. Bye, everyone. Bye. Take care.